Hey guys, Harrison, welcome back at it once again with a brand new video for you, and welcome, I think, to episode, I want to say 14, I'm not 100% sure on that, maybe 13 actually, of the online racer for Formula 1 2012, featuring Formula 1 2012 online gameplay, some of the news on the sport pretty much, so I talk about a range of Formula 1 related topics. On this episode, I'm going to talk about Mark Webber. Hooray! Well, it was announced a few weeks back now, actually, back at Silverstone during my hiatus, that Mark Webber would be retiring and move on from Formula 1 to race with Porsche. I think he's going to go into the WEC with them. The World Endurance Championship, not the MMA promotion that now is no longer existent. But anyway, I want to talk about him and the future of Red Bull more than anything else. It's like, a lot of people ask me, on Ask FM and whatnot, Dre, what do you think of Mark Webber? You know, you being a Vettel fan, did you like him? Did you like the rivalry? Etc, etc. A lot of people have asked me about that, and here's my thought on that quick. Like, there was a Formula 1 Hall of Fame, Mark Webber wouldn't make it in. He'd be what I like to call, not a Hall of Famer, but a Hall of Very Gooder. A bit like Rubens Barrichello, for example, or someone like David Coulthard. You know what I mean? As in, just a guy who was a very good driver, but never quite won the big one. I mean, there's been some drivers that didn't win the World Championship, but like, he just didn't ever seem to transcend to that top level, despite the cars he had. I mean, he had a Red Bull car for the last, 4 years, 5 years now, and a lot of you guys seem to think Vettel's performance comes down to the car, which, is partly true. At the same time, if Webber was that good at getting an equal share of race wins with Vettel, if he's not that good a driver, I mean, pardon me, some of the tools that Webber's had over the years, to only have 9 race wins, while it's, a good achievement, it's not a great achievement. He's had over 200 Grand Prix, which is a great achievement in its own right. And he's had a very, solid 14-year career. Twice a third-place finisher in the World Championship, 9 race wins. I think something like 20-plus podiums, and stuff like that. He's been a very solid driver. And it's a shame we're going to see him go, because he's also a great personality off the track. Very honest, he's got that kind of Australian kind of sharp to him as well. Just, very honest, always good for a soundbite or for an interesting interview. I remember the time, obviously, I think it was Fuji Speedway, the Japanese Grand Prix off the washout, when Vettel hit the back of Mark Webber. Well, they both had to retire, and I remember live on ITV1, I think it was something like 7 o'clock in the morning, where Webber literally said in front of Louise Goodman, who was interviewing him, I was like, Mark must be very upset at this. What did you think? And I was like, these young drivers, they just fuck it up for everyone. he said the F word live on ITV at 7 o'clock in the morning. He was just that angry, and it was always good for a sound. He's taken pot shot the boy Seb a little bit here and there, but I can understand why. Being in that kind of situation can be frustrating. As a clear, evident number 2, playing second fiddle to Sebastian, who is, let's be honest, despite whatever you want to say about him, is definitely a little bit better than Mark. Mark was never the guy. He always been second fiddle for the most part. Definitely since the second half of 2009. But Webber's a good guy. A good paddock personality to have there, and it's a shame to see him go. What did I think of the rivalry? Well, it wasn't really a rivalry for the most part, because Vettel won 9 times out of 10. Oh, okay, maybe not 9 times out of 10, but it was certainly heavily weighted in his favour. I've always said I think it was more Vettel's fault when they had the crash at Turkey, and I think that's that was the catalyst for them not getting along. And ever since then, it's just not really worked out for them. And this tends to be how things work in the sport sometimes. Not everybody's going to get along. Look at the Hamilton-Alonso dynamic from 07 when they tried to be equals, and I think even Alonso was surprised about how good Hamilton was going to be in his rookie year. That's an example. That's why Webber, career-wise, good guy, decent driver. Shame you got to lose him, but it's going to happen eventually, because he's the old guy in the field now. And I always feel like I don't think he was ever, fully appreciated by Helmut Marko. Speaking of which, this means there's now a seat available in arguably the top team in the sport now. And there seems to be 3 main names that are top contenders for this Red Bull seat for next year. Apparently we'll know real soon who the Red Bull replacement is going to be. And the three main contenders in my eyes are Kimi Raikkonen, Daniel Ricciardo, and Fernando Alonso. Now, Alonso's more of a red herring in my opinion, but I'll get to that in a minute. The thing is that I think Christian Horner himself has said ultimately it will come down to Ricciardo versus Raikkonen, and it's two different dynamics there between them. John-Eric Verne apparently is too young, and he'll be staying on with Toro Rosso for next year anyway. And if Ricciardo doesn't get the Red Bull seat, he'll stay on with the team as well, from what I hear, for now. But it's the dynamic of, do you sign Daniel Ricciardo and stay true to your young driver development program? I mean, the creation of Toro Rosso, you know, Helmut Marko and the young driver development scheme. You know, do you keep that chain going and, you know, put Daniel Ricciardo in the seat, hoping he turns out to be a big-time talent and, you know, another potential future star? Because, you know, that's the process that got Sebastian Vettel to where he is now, to a degree. He came up through the Red Bull umbrella, eventually got to the top. Did they see Daniel Ricciardo being able to do something similar? Possibly. Or do you sign the best free agent on the board in Kimi Raikkonen? Raikkonen, I believe, his contract expires at the end of the season with Lotus, and Lotus apparently are throwing everything they can to try and keep Raikkonen staying on for next year. It's kind of a shame because I know Lotus absolutely adore Raikkonen. If you see their Twitter page, they're always talking. It's like a cult. It's like it's got a cult following going on down there at the Lotus ranch and whatnot. And obviously, Kimi Raikkonen, in my opinion, is one of only 4 elite drivers in this sport. Sebastian Vettel, Lewis Hamilton, and Fernando Alonso being the other 3. So it's a matter of, do you stay true to your principles, or do you get the best driver available, i.e. Kimi Raikkonen? We all know Raikkonen's a better driver than Ricciardo. I'm sure we've all come to that conclusion already. The thing I find interesting is, you know, the possible dynamic in teams. Like, Ricciardo seems like a very happy-go-lucky kind of person, always smiling, you know, always, you know, positive, upbeat. Seems like the kind of company guy that Red Bull would be looking for, you know, an ideal number 2 to Sebastian Vettel, a guy that probably wouldn't get in his way very much. You know, we've seen flashes of brilliance from Dan, but nothing consistent to make you say, future world champion right there. He seems like he would be an ideal number 2 kind of guy. Kimi Raikkonen is probably too good to be a number 2 driver under the most conventional schemes, but Kimi Raikkonen doesn't give a shit. That's the thing with Kimi Raikkonen. Raikkonen doesn't care about politics, he doesn't care about team dynamics, he just doesn't care about any of that stuff. All he wants to do is get in a car and drive its wheels off. That's what Kimi Raikkonen does. So do you think Raikkonen will care if he's a number 2? Not really, because he'll probably feel like he has a chance of beating Vettel anyway. I know for the sake of entertainment that a lot of people would like to see Raikkonen on there, Bernie Ecclestone for example, for the sake of, you know, positivity for the sport, to see Vettel and Raikkonen go head to head. Not to mention, Vettel and Raikkonen are friends off the track. They have a very good relationship with one another. So, you know, that could heal some of the awkward team dynamic that Red Bull has had for the last few years, and Mark Webber, who just seems to be, you know, grumpy everywhere and not like the fact he's not the guy. Which reminds me, I don't think the rumours about Fernando Alonso are true either. Fernando Alonso has what I like to call a personality inferiority complex. He can't take it when somebody else is on his level or not. The recent comments bitching about Vettel and the car he's in, you know, Red Bull, you got him one by default, and, you know, saying, you know, for his birthday he wants a better car. And, you know, he left the McLaren team after 1 year after he realised Lewis Hamilton's might just be as good as he is, etc, etc. You know, Alonso's had a whole team built around him for the last 4 years at Ferrari. That wouldn't happen at Red Bull. Like, because Sebastian Vettel's too good. He's the guy. There's a chance he'll have 4 world titles by the time next round. And Alonso's not. I don't think Alonso's got the, you know, for that kind of team. I think his ego's too big. While Raikkonen, I think, just on with the job really. So I think, like, my heart wants it to go to Ricciardo because I really like him as a person and as a driver. But my head thinks it's going to be Raikkonen. He just seems like the logical fit. He's a good guy, a guy that could probably get the maximum out of Vettel as well from a competitive standpoint, and they probably wouldn't take too many points off each other. I'm sure Red Bull could work something out there as well. But I'd love to hear what you guys think of the situation. Would you go for Ricciardo? Would you go for Raikkonen? Would you go for Alonso? Is there somebody else in mind that you think could get it, and why? I'd love to hear your thoughts. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys next time. I've been Harrison101. Thank you very much for watching, and sayonara.